there, Candace from C3 Creative. Today we're going to make a bow that is an everyday bow. And when I say everyday, I mean something that you can use all season long. It's not really seasonal, and this one's more natural, so you can use it in a lot of different ways. And what I'm doing with here, my recipe for this bow is just a really pretty simple natural Swiss dot with white dots. And then I've got this very simple kind of a moss. It's kind of between a moss and a spring green with some white fern on it. And then I've just got a natural burlap or jute. Let's see what this says. It's polyester, so it's fake, but it looks like burlap. And that kind of brings in that natural element. And then you can't go wrong with a little black and white check. So either a black and white polka dot or a black and white check, but really like this. So this is going to be our bow for the day. And as always, we're going to start with tinsel tie, zip tie, and our good scissors, and our wire snips. Got to have those things. So I always start by dropping my ribbon on the floor. And I'm going to do about a 7-inch loop. This isn't going to be a super big bow. And then I'm going to put it in my bow maker, and I'm going to do, I think, probably 6.5-inch loops. So just going 6.5 over. Again, not going for a big bow. I'll make it a 6.5. Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit further out. There we go. That's better. And then coming across right about there. And then I always go across on the other side just to match. I have a tail on this side. I want a tail on this side. I want it to match. Give me some balance. And then next I'm going to go in with this pretty green that we talked about. And if you wonder why I drop my ribbon on the floor, ribbon tends to want to curl because it's been on the roll. So when you drop it on the floor, it just keeps it from tangling up on you, because you don't want to be fighting with your ribbon. So I'm going to make these loops exactly the same size as our first 2 loops. And then I'm going to come down again, cut my tail, come across again, and cut another tail. And there we go. And next I'm going to go in with this pretty burlap. 2 loops again. This time I'm going to go about 1 inch shorter. I'm going to go about right there. I don't know if you noticed, I'm doing something a little different than I normally do. I'm actually just stacking the ribbons straight on top of each other. So what I'm going to do is, once I have all my ribbons in, then I'll move them the way I want them to before we pull it out of the bow maker. And I'll explain what that means in just a minute. Getting that there. I'm trying to decide, do I want, I think what I'll do is go in here with this, and we'll do 2 loops. Again, same size as our burlap. And come down. I'm going to come across here. Next tail. And then I'm going to go back in with this pretty Swiss dot. No, I'm not. I'm going to go in with the green, I think, to finish it. Yep, I like that better. We're just going to come back in with that little pop of green for a little 1 loop button right at the end there, just a little bit. And there's our bow. So now what I'm going to do before I pull it out is I want to pull my loops where I want them. So I'm going to go this back loop, I'm going to go up and down. And then the second loop, I'm going to go up and down in the opposite direction. And then I'm going to pull some of these tails a little to the side. There we go. And then this one is going to go this way, just like that. And then we're going to go up and down with these ribbons. So a little bit up, a little bit down, just like that. That way it's easier to get our ribbons where we want them to be once we pull it out of the bow maker. And I'm just going to slide my zip tie underneath, make sure I've got all the ribbons captured. Notice how I'm pushing it down with my middle finger here into the bow maker because I want to make sure I have a nice tight stack. I'm going to tighten it just enough to lift it out. See how I've got that there? And then I'm going to twist it and move this to the middle and twist it to the back. And then I'm going to flip it upside down. Make sure my ribbon's stacked nice and tight, just like a sandwich. We don't want anything sliding off our sandwich. I'm going to pull my tinsel tie through, and then I'm going to tighten this down. So really, really tight, so we get a nice, secure bow. And again, it looks terrible. Look how mashed this is. This is not what we're going to end up with. This is the beginning phase. So the next thing I'm going to do is go through and I'm going to dovetail all my ends. I'm going to do that by folding my two seams together, two wired edges together, and then I'm going to cut at an angle. We're going to cut up. So again, I'm cutting my two wired edges together, not cutting, folding, and then I'm going to cut. Now this skinnier ribbon, I don't want to cut, I want to try to dovetail. It won't look pretty. I'm just going to cut that at an angle. And I'm missing a tail. Oh, here it is. I knew I had one more on this side. There we go. And then we're going to fold our two wired edges together. We're going to cut up at an angle. And really the reason for doing that, it helps you to not make a mistake and cut at the wrong angle, but you can also accidentally cut yourself, which I have done many, many, many times, and it's not fun. It's quite painful. And then you bleed on your ribbon and you have to start over on your bow, which is not what you want to have to do. So always better to cut up and not bleed and cause injury. So now that I've done that, I'm just going to do a quick singe on all my ends. This just keeps this ribbon from fraying, and that way too, if you have any wires poking out, you'll be able to see them and be able to take care of those so that you don't end up with wires poking out, which will snag and cause the ribbon to fray also. So just a quick singe, not too much. If you accidentally set it on fire, that's okay. You start over, or you can just recut depending on how bad the fire is. I've definitely done that before. So now that we've got our top tails done, we're going to come down here and we're going to do the same thing, folding our two wired edges together. Now what you'll see I'm doing here is I'm going to lay these out because I like each tail to be just a little bit. Doing here is just staggering my tails so that each piece of ribbon shows as it goes down. Now this last piece, I might cut a little bit longer because we can curl it. So again, I'm cutting these at an angle. I'm going to do a quick singe on all of my ends now. There we go. And then this little centerpiece needs to be cut also. And then I'm going to do the other side. So I'm going to start with my longest piece. I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to lay the piece on top of it that's right next to it. Cut that one. Make sure that I'm staggering my lengths. This one I'm going to cut a little shorter because I've got more ribbon. Perfect. And then again, I'm leaving this a little bit longer because I'm going to curl these at the end, and I'll show you how that looks. So we're going to just singe our ends real quick, just to make sure everything's good. Now that I've done that, I'm going to scrape all of my tails into the trash. There we go. I'm going to take this tinsel tie on the back and I'm going to pull it out because that's what's going to be my handle as I start to fluff this out. Okay, and now's where I'm going to start shaping my loops. So I'm just pulling everything out so that I have some good fluffy loops here. And then I like to pull my tails towards me. You can see I'm just kind of using my hands to curl those, and then I'm going to take my hands into each of these loops and just round it out so that I have a nice round loop. And then I'm going to twist the center loop and pull it out so that it's in the right place. Very pretty. It's looking good already. one little piece here. It's giving me a bit of a problem. It's a check ribbon. There we go. And there we go. There's our bow, a nice everyday bow. Again, just very natural, matches kind of anything, could go with any color scheme, but very neutral, I guess is what I'm saying. And I love this pop of black and white. I think it just really adds some texture. What do you